Uh, new Hangouts just don't work for me. Right, I'll recap all of that what I just said again. Okay, welcome to the new session of Dragon Warriors. We're playing the One-Eyed God, which is one of the published adventures. I was wearing an eye patch, Dave. I'm sorry I took it off before I got the stream fixed. Shit happens. So, last session, one of our brave adventurers, Yannick the Warlock, was imprisoned and forced to play a magical game. The demigod, we assume, of an ancient evil religion, insisted that in order to free him, they fetch him something. A magical sword from a lost ruler called the Pendragon. So their patron, Baron Aldred, has bent every effort to assist his adventurer friends in finding out where that is so that they can retrieve the sword and trade it for the freedom of their friend. So that is what we shall be doing this session. Got extra players. I know we've got a little bit of feedback. You'll just have to put up with it. Right. So it's been several days with scribes toing and froing from Aldred's estate, returning with massive leather-bound tomes and language indexes, scrolls, and all manner of other material, and then poring over it in the castle library. You're almost starting to lose hope, as it seems to be a really frustrating area of historical research for them. But finally, one of the scribes, Barabbas, emerges from the library, ink-stained and exhausted looking, with a scrap of paper, and says, I think I've found it.
Wonderful.
Found what?
The sword. The Pendragon's sword that you asked me to look for.
Of course, the sword. Sir Alain, that's what you've been looking for all this time. Well done.
It should be buried with the ancient king in a barrow near Carrick Bridge.
Excellent.
We're not seriously suggesting that we're going to find this sword and hand it over to that man, are we?
Well, how else can we get Yannick back? We can't, can we?
There's surely got to be another way, some way to kill this man.
You're expecting us to go up against a wreck like entity? You've got to be joking.
You've killed tougher stuff before. That witch, for instance.
Yeah, but the thing is this guy was a priest of a cult. He's now no longer physically on this realm, and who knows what he can chuck at us.
I just don't like the idea. I just don't like the idea of giving him a weapon of such power.
Well,
we could use it for our own devices.
The time for negotiation has passed. We had that time, and we could have given him one of the Valanda swords, but no, we're going to give him this sword instead.
I still don't like it.
You'll need the sword anyway, probably, to get an audience with him. So even if you were going to strike at him, you would probably need it as a way to get to him.
A bargaining chip.
Yeah.
Well, whilst we're trying to get this sword, at least try to find some way to dispatch him.
Well, I can go back to the books. Perhaps there's some clue from who he was in life. Barabbas yawns, leaves the scrap of paper with what little information he has with you, and meanders back towards the library.
As he's going back to the library, ask him to look up this cult, and I'll explain the the signal which was above the temple, which was sold for 4 to him, so it gives him a bit of time to.
Yeah, and you can give him the scraps of those tablets that had writing on as well. That would give him something to work with.
Yep, I'll give him them as well.
Okay.
Jim, I'm wondering where I fit into this with this brigade.
Okay, so everyone in their background before we even started had adventured together in an adventure called The King Under the Forest. It's just that I've run that adventure so many times. I didn't want to run it again. But at the end of that, you find Valandar, who's like this world's equivalent of King Arthur, surrounded by floating swords. And then if you take one of those swords, you become sort of a spirit of the Knight of the Round Table, almost. And the magic sword guides you to where you're needed, guides you to adventure, rewards you for being chivalrous and just and doing the right thing. So it's an excellent excuse for bringing characters together and then breaking them apart.
It's the trouble finder, isn't it?
Yeah.
Essentially.
It's the plot device with 2 T's.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's cool. So I'm part of the group anyway. Yeah. Grand.
Yeah. So, what do you want to do?
Well, would it be worth helping any kind of research how to kill this wraith creature or whatever he is?
That's something for the future. The thing you need to do now is to get this sword in the first place.
That's true, yeah.
Okay, well, I suppose get ready to go to the location. Unless
I just don't like the idea of giving a immortal priest guy a sword of apparent really strong power. It doesn't sound good.
Well, the thing is, if he wants the swords, we can always get the swords, go back and barter to get our friend back, and as soon as we get our friend back, we can let them taste the sword if you want to use it against them. Yeah. That's an idea.
Well, I'll take the paper from him and see what he's written on it.
Okay. The piece of paper, in extremely scratchy writing, says that there are references to this Pendragon in relation to the village of Carrick's Bridge and the pagan rites that they still perform there, these villages. There should be a burial mound not far from the village. The locals should know where it is, and it's a good bet that might be the place that he's buried and where the sword should be buried. He found some references that investigators, adventurers, about 50, 60 years in the past, did go and look for the barrow, but never returned. So if people have failed to grave rob it, then there's good odds the sword is still there.
Never returned. That's the part we didn't really want to hear.
Do we know anything at all about the sword we have?
Sorry, I'm getting a bit too much echo. Can you say that again?
Do we know anything about the sword we're after? Do we know anything about it?
The Pendragon's sword. Some of these books that these scribes investigated refer to it as Ildurin. But Ildir is another name for the Pendragon.
So it's only used by the few of them.
Do you want to do any more prep or buy anything? Sorry, Ian, can you mute when you're not talking? I think it's your...
I'll get this
So
I'll
your
get
tablet's
this
making a
ring
noise.
and staff looked into, James.
The staff.
And the ring.
Yeah. Well, they identified the ring for you, so you can have that and use that if you want.
What is it? Just a fancy ring, or does it have any parts?
It's a ring of agonizing doom.
How many shots?
2 shots.
Can I recharge it, or is it just a 2-shot pony?
It's beyond the capacity of your sorceress at present to recharge it.
So once I've used these 2 shots,
Yeah,
I can.
it's basically done, at least for now.
And the staff?
Staff doesn't appear to do anything. It just seems to be ebony wood ended with silver.
I thought I had glyphs and that on it. My bad.
It did, but they don't do anything. They're purely decorative.
Okay. And the tankards with the Northern Star gem that always glows with garnets.
Yeah, I think I may have put that on a different character, but yes, that's it's just a compass.
Just a compass.
Just a magical compass. Yep.
Well, I'll just put on the stuff I don't need, which will be the silver disc and the fangs and the claws.
Okay. So just leave that stuff in your stash and
Yeah. I'll put the ring on my person, put it on my finger.
okay. Does anyone else want to do any prep or buy anything, or are you ready to go?
Oh, no, I'm good.
How far is Carrick's Bridge?
It's not too far. A couple of days
So
since you're stuck at foot speed.
we have some supplies, do we? I presume for the journey.
Yeah, you've got rations on your sheets, so you should be all good for that.
Good to go then. That's okay.
I'll try and see if I can get any healing potions before I nip out with the rest of it.
In this setting, it's not like there's a magic shop down the end of the street. You really have to wait until your magic users are at a sufficient level to do it, unless you're in a really big city. So
That's fine, Jim. That's fine. Charlie Poe.
Oh, Jim, we recovered a lot of silver that was tainted.
yes,
I think has that been blessed and
that's been blessed and cleansed and converted into readies. So
lovely.
and spread out amongst everyone. Okay, right. You grab yourselves a hearty breakfast, knowing that you're going to be stuck eating dried meat and so on for a while. Pack up your mule and off you go. It's a fairly pleasant journey. The weather seems to have changed completely from that unnatural snowstorm that assaulted you at the fortress. It's bright, it's sunny, spring seems to be springing forth. There's primroses in the hedgerows at the sides of the tracks, birds singing. Yeah, very pleasant and very warm in the sun. The moment you get in the shade, it's a bit cooler, but still. So about halfway through the second day, because it's easy going in this weather, you arrive at Carrick's Bridge. It's a village either side of a rivulet. It has a big, very old hall that's a sort of clash of different building styles. Looks like it's been built over and again. Otherwise, it's a fairly pleasant little farming village. A lot of small crofts, a lot of larger farms, and beyond the orchards that bound the village, it's moorland and heath and fairly open. The occasional big stone rock deposited by an ancient glacier stabs up out of the earth, but otherwise it's heather and gorse and tufts of grass. And you can see the barrow from here atop one of the shallow hills.
It's a known landmark. It's not concealed or
No, There's a few raggedy trees that seem to have been planted around the barrow to sort of screen it from view a little bit. But because it's only early spring, the leaves haven't fully grown back in to hide it.
Also, if it's not been looted, then it must be bad inside.
A few of the peasants sort of stop at their work in the fields and stare at you because you are an odd-looking bunch, and adventurers and men at arms are an unusual sight out here.
Yeah, well, I'll wave.
A few of them wave back at you.
Does there seem to be any kind of local meeting place, where people have an ale or two?
Yeah, there's a small inn called the Horn. Amusingly enough, it's a similar old style to the sort of main central village hall. That weird clashing mix of building styles, like it's been built and rebuilt over and over. Instead of a sign, it has an old cracked bull's horn hanging from chains out the front.
Well, I'll nod. What do you think? Shall we have an ale and try and talk to some of the locals?
Sounds like a plan.
Well,
You're still muted, Ian.
To get the lay of the land and some knowledge from the locals, I think.
Yeah. All right. So you stroll on into the inn, spread a few coins around to get yourself some drinks and something to eat. There's not that many people in here at the moment. They're all out working the fields, ploughing and tilling and everything, ready for planting. But there's a couple of the sort of village aldermen, the innkeeper himself, and his wife. It is an odd building. It's almost triangular. So the corners of the room are really sort of low and tight, and they've got bottles and kegs and so on sort of rammed in there in that space that people can't use. And then a long central table for people to drink and eat at. And then the hearth and the sort of bar is at the far end, almost like an afterthought.
I'll walk up to the bar. What's everyone drinking?
Me, I think.
I'll have a small beer. I'll have a small beer. Yeah, we are working after all.
Yeah.
Yep, no problem. So it's one mead, one small ale. What were you?
Like a me, please.
Okay, take his order.
Yeah.
Look at the elders and ask if they wish a drink.
Applejack.
Would that be 3 applejacks or just the one?
3 just for me.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. Yeah.
And
So
I'll have,
you splash around a bit of coin. You get your drinks. Sit yourselves down. The alderman raises his cup to you. Thank you.
how long have you been in this village, sir? May I ask? I'll walk up to meet.
All my 67 summers, and I feel every one of them.
Has the village had much activity in the past couple of years, may I ask?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's been hectic. So hectic. So much going on. Well, last year we saw a knight like your friend riding along the hilltop. Yeah, that was a year.
Did you catch his coat of arms?
Oh, I can't remember it. Besides, surprised I can see anything. These eyes are mine.
I'll put a couple of shinies on the table.
No, I honestly don't recall.
I'll flip the point on you.
You won't get much out of him, says one of the other aldermen. He's wearing a grey hood and sort of fiddling with a coin between his swollen knuckles.
Okay, so if you can't remember anything, what makes you so smile?
He's just old, and he occasionally remembers something. You're here for something, says the man in the grey hood. What is it?
Yes, we're here on business. We work for Baron Aldred.
Ah, the Baron, who takes his tithe and rarely is seen. But from what I hear, he's a kind, just lord. Doesn't tithe us too much. But there's not much here for you. Let me see. Let me think. He reaches into his hood and strokes his grey beard. Well, you're not here to help with the planting. That's obvious. Too early for another tithe. All the young men have already gone off to crusade. The ones that could fight. So, you're either bandits, here to kill us, or you're here for the barrow.
Yes, if we were bandits, you'd already be dead.
Probably. None too soon for him. Oi. I'm old, not deaf.
I'll laugh manically.
What can you tell us about the barrow?
Well, the barrow, it's Valor's Hall. Yeah. So they say the wooden man lives in there. We kind of, well, we've never quite cottoned to the new religion here. Yeah, we have the priest, and, we go and say our prayers and all the rest of it. But there's a lot to be said for the old ways, I think.
Indeed.
It's good to stay in touch with the earth and our history, however distorted it might get. And the wooden man, it's said, was once a great king who became something more and who watches over us. So, we pay our dues, we leave our offerings, though we don't get too close most of the year. Sometimes it's said there's an apparition of him there, a great big scary head that glowers at anyone who dares come close. Oh, there's been a few grave robbers here over the years. They go in, but they don't come out, and we don't go in.
Rub my bookie.
So the wooden man, he lives in the barrow still.
So we think. Perhaps he is some sort of demigod or legend, some kind of afterimage of a great man.
But wasn't he killed when the bronze chests were here?
Aye. But when has death ever kept someone like that down? People in the olden times didn't used to draw too much of a distinction between kings and gods.
Right. So what say ye then? Well, we've been tasked by the Baron to make sure the place is safe, to protect you, of course, and your livelihood and your farms.
He chuckles and nicks one of the other old man's glasses of Applejack and tosses it back. Oh, aye. Well, safer not to go in it, but I suspect you're going to anyway. I just tell you, be careful.
Therefore is my middle name. I'll chuckle.
It's not like we worship the old fella, it's more like appeasement.
Yes.
At least you're not just here for the treasure.
Did we
Wait.
mention treasure? What treasure?
You mentioned treasure.
Aye.
Say anything about treasure.
Well, it's stories, of course. No one's ever come out, so it could be complete arse, as far as anyone knows. But they say that he wore jewelled armour, and he was buried with riches and beautiful women and everything he'd ever need in the afterlife.
I'll get close to Sir Helene and whisper. I said, we know what is in there. We don't have to tell them that we know.
I'll smile. Oh. Ooh.
What's Becca's intelligence?
Not a lot.
Okay,
8, I think. Let me check.
as is traditional for barbarians.
Yeah. So, am I having a sudden rush of blood to the head? Yes, I got a 5. I saved on my intelligence.
Okay, something's been nagging at you. Your people don't worship these gods. You're more animistic and spiritualistic, but your neighbouring tribes and neighbouring people do. Valor Hall sounds an awful lot like Valhalla, and Wooden Man could be Voden.
Yes. So we're. I'm thinking. I'm not gonna. I won't vocalise this, but
Yeah.
so we're gonna steal from one demigod to pay off another demigod.
Seems fair.
That's our job, isn't it? That's we are adventurers.
That's what it's all about.
Well, when we're in private, I'll share that, but not with the old folks listening.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time, my dear friend. You've been very helpful.
Oh, well.
Enjoy your Applejack, and if we come across each other's path again, I'll get you another one for your trouble. We'll meet again.
I'll remember that.
Do you have a name, sir?
Nope. Don't you know? Names have power. You shouldn't go throwing them around. Especially
Well, my
when there's
name's
old
Bob.
magic in the hills.
And my name's Bob, and I'll smile.
Yes, absolutely, yes. And I am Becca Ikukan, Slayer of Beyond the Traitor. Remember that.
Oh. That's a powerful name. Nah, you can call me Grey. Well,
No problem. Joe.
good luck. May the old
Thank
gods
you.
and the new watch over you.
Thank you, my friend, and I hope you have a good harvest.
Well, I think we will.
Is it still light outside, James?
Yeah, it's only early afternoon.
Right.
It's actually pretty warm, not summery yet, but yeah, close.
Well, so when it's quiet, I'll share this. I'll say, so Elaine, you're not going to like this, but this could be, a living demigod in there who we're going to steal a sword from to give to another living demigod to rescue our mate.
So
So-
basically, we're doing two demigods laundry then.
Yeah, but let's focus on the prize, which is rescuing our mate. That's the prize.
That
That is
doesn't
the
sound
plan, yeah.
like much of a prize to me. It sounds like a return to normality.
Okay, Tin
If
Man.
anything, we are the ones who have lost out on this arrangement.
We can leave our company and never come back. I'll tell Baron Aldred. Don't worry.
I'm simply saying that I do not like being taken advantage of. I do not like allowing evil to persist in this world.
It won't for long, just for the moment.
Well, I still think we should keep our ears and eyes open in case we find any way of rectifying this situation.
And our wits about us.
Exactly. I'm second that.
Yeah, that's your job. I just hit things.
Very hard.
Right. Well, I think the barrow awaits us then, gents. Don't you agree? We've spent enough time here drinking and socialising and time.
Yeah, let's have a quick pop to the latrine and then we go and we leave.
That's your contribution to the farming.
Yeah.
Okay. It's only about a 20-minute walk out of the village across the heath. Up to the ring of trees that surrounds the barrow. It doesn't take long at all, and the path, there is a path there. It's overgrown now, but it's like a shallow rut in the ground. It's probably where they come up when they do their rituals and their in their revels, whenever it is that they do them. So once you pass through the outer ring of trees, there's the entrance to the barrow. So it's just like a hump, clumped with bracken. A couple of straggly gorse bushes are also growing on top, just starting to burst into flower. There's briars, blackberry bushes everywhere, tangled around the trees, almost like a fence. But it looks like someone or something comes in and out fairly regularly because it's cut through to provide entrance and exit. The entrance to the barrow itself is fairly clear. It's made up of two great big slabs of stone that doesn't look local, with a third piece of stone running across the top, so much like a henge. And then that leads directly into the barrow itself.
Well, there's no cover stone.
I said there's one on top. To either side, one on top, but there's no door. Nothing covering the entrance in and out. The entrance is slightly overgrown, but again, it looks like it's been hacked or passed through quite a lot. Roots grow over the top stone and hang down, but where they've been hacked off or broken, it gives it a rather unsettling appearance of a mouth filled with teeth.
Is there any kind of markings or writing of any kind around the dolmen at all, or?
It's worn pretty smooth. There's some very faint outlines that may be ancient writing, but it's so worn down it's hard to tell. When you move closer to examine the stone for that sort of thing, you see that some strings made by rolling nettles together have been made, and a bunch of bones hung on them, and they've been hung from the inside, like chimes or something, just in the way as you would enter the barrow.
Well, are the animal bones or human bones?
Would you know, assassin? You've probably learnt some basic biology. What's your intelligence?
13.
No, you got no idea. Animal, you think?
Okay.
They're mostly small bones, and they're hollow, so they make a good tonk tonk noise when they rattle together.
Well, being the son of a butcher, would I not know what bones would be? Cringe.
Yeah, you think they're animal bones?
Okay. How recent are they?
Pretty old. Sort of yellowed and crumbling a bit, some of them, but some are newer looking.
Okay. Any ideas, guys?
I'd like to put my hands on one of the stones and maybe try to get a feel of any sort of like niceness or evilness of the place.
Yeah, that's one of the
Premonition thing.
premonition abilities, isn't it? Yeah. So you got 37% chance of getting one. I'll roll. You get a sense of power coming from the stones and from the barrow more generally, but you can't really read anything either way about it.
I turn to the rest of the party and say, I can sense great power here, but beyond that, I can't sense anything else. It's not like I can't sense hostility or evilness or goodness, just power.
That's all you need.
Oh, I could have told you that. Why don't one of you try to wiggle yourself in through there? A point inside.
Well, I presume if it's big enough for a knight to get through, I presume the aperture is relatively largish. Would that be correct?
Yep. But if you want to get through without sort of knocking the bones, it'll be a bit tricky.
Well, given my slight frame, I'll try and maybe squeeze in quietly as possible.
Okay.
And,
What's your reflexes?
10.
Okay. You slide in, and as you move around one set of hanging bones, avoiding them very, very carefully and very, very well, you accidentally knock into the next set and set off a clattering rattle that echoes off the stone walls deep into the barrow. So past the vestibule of worked stone that lies just inside the entrance, squat pillars frame a passage leading west into the barrow, supporting a lintel. From the inside, you do see carvings. There's a face of a stern, bearded man with a patch over his left eye. He seems to be sort of staring down from the top of the stone, down onto the ground here, just sort of staring down at the dirt.
Oh, so that bears a stunning resemblance to Wotan, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What's he looking at?
The ground.
I'm going to give it a few, maybe 30 seconds, just in case I try and hear if the bone rattling has disturbed anything.
Okay. Everyone, roll a d20 and tell me if it's under your perception.
Hooray!
8. My perception.
Nat 1. Get in.
No, I fail.
Okay.
No.
No, I fell.
Well, if you succeeded, you hear distant sounds of movement, but it's hard to tell how many or from what direction. If, however, you got a 1, being the best result possible, you hear scuttling, scurrying noises like small people or large animals just moving quickly deeper in the barrow. Maybe half a dozen, do you think?
What, like rats or
Bigger.
bigger than? Oh no, there's something inside. There's critters inside. Oh, I hate critters. Snakes and rats and stuff and lizards. Ugh.
What's that guy's name you crawled inside?
That's
Her name is
Ceridin?
Caradwin.
Ceridin, quick, get out!
yeah, I mean, I'm going to slink back out. Not really caring if I disturb the rest of the
Rattle, rattle, rattle.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing immediately sallies forth from the barrow to eat your faces or anything. You sort of all stand around the entrance, cautious, listening. I don't really hear anything.
I'll describe what I saw while I was in there to the others, but
Cool. Yeah, I'll confer with I'll confer with the Caesara. You know that statue sounds like Wotan, doesn't it? Guy with a beard and a patch.
It does indeed.
It appears to be guarded by something. The fact that you heard something moving inside and these bones strung up like makeshift alarms, perhaps goblins.
Well, they're only small, so they won't last long.
is
How
there any
big's the opening, James? How
Yeah.
big's the opening?
Sorry, pardon?
How big's the opening?
Still can't hear you, sorry.
How big is the opening?
Yeah, tall enough for any one of you to walk in with your head held high. Yeah, it's pretty big. Monumental, even.
And how high up are the chimes?
Well, the ceiling's not not that high up from you, and they're just sort of tied in roots and things that are growing in through the ceiling, or sort of pushed in between the blocks of stone to hang. They're pretty loosely hung.
Is there any tracks at all that would give away what possibly might be coming to, going in out of the cave?
Do you have tracking?
I certainly don't. I don't think, but I will suggest it as a...
Yeah. So I think
Probably.
Alain and Becca have tracking.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you take out a weapon and cover, keep an eye out for anything. I'll check for tracks.
Okay. So in the light that spills in through the entrance, you sort of crouch down and look here. It's only a thin layer of dirt on top of flagstones beneath. There's lots of scuff marks. It looks like there's quite a lot of foot traffic, so it's hard to pick out any individual footsteps. But you do find what almost looks like a child's footprint, maybe 6, 7, 8 summers old, perhaps at the most. But very calloused feet, which children don't normally have.
Perhaps goblins or maybe even halflings. Something small. Nothing too difficult. You should kill them all.
We'll do that in due time, sir. We'll do that in due time.
Someone's blood's up.
Well,
To be-
goblins are creatures of evil. We have a duty to kill them.
Yes, but have you ever seen one? Like they're just bedtime stories to scare children, aren't they?
Not necessarily true, my friend.
Wait, I'm under the assumption that in this fantasy land, goblins are quite common for some reason.
Reasonably, but lots of people live in towns and villages where they're protected by guards and so on. So, to a lot of people, they are just stories.
I'm running under the assumption that Elaine's come across goblins before for some reason.
Yes, he probably has.
No, I have heard rumors of these creatures. I definitely believe they're no myth.
Well, not much can withstand a super magical claymore in their head. That's a fact. So let's tool up and go in.
All right, I'll take the point.
Okay, who's going to provide light?
I'll go. I'll provide light.
I can provide magical light, but I don't know if you guys want to do, or do you want to save that, or?
Oh no. Let's use use the lanterns first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you
Save your magic.
Spark up a couple of lanterns and make your way in.
Well, I'm going to draw my claymore and hold it in a reverse grip like a spear.
Yeah. Okay. So you pass through that first chamber, passing underneath this head of this one-eyed man staring down sort of through you at the floor. It's a bit unsettling. No need to worry about the alarms anymore, so you just shove them aside or rip them down, however the case may be. And on from there, you pass into a wide tunnel. Along the rough stone walls to either side, murals of hunts and savage battles have been daubed in black and rusty brown. They're old, they're scuffed, but you can still make them out. You can't escape the uneasy feeling that the brown pigment may be dried blood. At least you're out of the sunshine, I suppose, and the wind. It's a lot colder in the barrow than you would have thought, from how warm and nice it was outside. In your lantern light, the old stone sparkles slightly. It's frosted. What's your marching order?
I'm in front.
Okay.
I'm second.
Well, you can march 2 abreast most places here, so...
Well,
Okay.
Okay, then I guess Becker and me side by side then.
Yeah, Carradine probably in the middle,
Sounds good. Yeah.
then Abbas at the back, because Mystics are okay in a fight. Okay. Right, your lantern light pierces into the next section of the chamber. It sort of snakes around some pillars and buttresses. Some of these are just flat stones piled one on top of another up to the ceiling to hold it up. Everything's big, heavy, fairly crude cut blocks of stone, but it all seems to fit together pretty well. As you pass between two of these buttresses, up ahead you can see what looks like it was a tunnel to the right, but either there's been a collapse or someone's done a lot of work to block it up. There's a big sort of pile of stones, almost like scree, leading up into the tunnel. The main passageway continues on to the west, and then off to your left is an open, smaller, narrower entrance to what appears to be another chamber.
Do we hear any further movements? Anything obvious at all, or is it just the sound of our own feet echoing in the dark?
It's hard to tell what's you being paranoid and what's genuine sounds, or maybe rats or something scurrying in the dark. But all of you think you keep hearing like small scurrying noises and scrapes and scratches.
Almost instinctively, I'm going to turn left.
That's the rule.
Yes.
Okay. It's only room for one of you across here, so use a step forward into the tunnel. Are the rest of you following on or hanging around outside?
I'll follow.
Go in and, afterwards as well, after the two bigger chaps or chapettes.
Some old mouldering furs have been hung across the hallway here, almost like a curtain of some kind. Beyond that, you can hear like a clatter of dishes and you can smell food.
What type of food?
Roasted meat, onions, fresh bread, spices.
Salivating at this stage. I can smell that.
Okay, silently I'll move the fur to one side if it's actually blocking like a doorway.
Okay, you
Yeah, I'll sort of step aside to allow Cesora to go ahead.
Okay.
Because he's a little bit.
You shift the side, let Cesora through. Gently lift the fur up out of the way.
Yeah.
And through the gap, you can see a tall man in white robes standing beside a stone table which is strewn with thick furs. He's a middle-aged man with gold-grey, silvery hair. He doesn't seem to notice you, but he plucks an apple from a pile on the table and bites into it, juice running down into his beard. He has ruby-studded gold bands around his wrists and a golden torque at his throat.
And you said I've got his back turned towards me.
He's sort of side on to you, so he hasn't seen you, but he's just standing beside this stone table.
What appears to be on the table, can I see it, or is he blocking the way?
You can see this pile of apples, a big haunch of roast meat, big jugs, presumably of booze, some sort of chopped diced turnips, all manner of tasty noms laid out on the table.
Could I perhaps use my detect aura? Would that
Yeah. So costs you a spell point to cast, I think.
Yeah.
Is it a spell or is it a natural ability? I can't remember.
No, it's in my.
It's in your spell list.
For the mythic, it's natural, isn't it? But if you're a spell mastery,
A detect aura, is it?
Yeah.
It's a level 2 spell, so that's two spell points.
Yeah, and is that a specific, or will it do the kind of the whole room, etc.? Or I'm just looking at the rule book. It just says
Yeah, it says to see the supernatural aura which surrounds enchanted beings and objects.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you make the gestures and make the invocations and draw upon the unnatural science of magic, and then when you look up again, sort of past these others, you look into the room. The food doesn't have a natural aura. It has a magical halo, a sort of glittering magical halo, like it isn't genuine, like it's unnatural. The man has no aura. He just appears into your aura sight like a thin wisp of magical energy, and he's connected by that thin wisp of magical energy to the wall or something behind the wall.
Well, I'll whisper, beware of the food, and be careful of and be aware of the wall. There's something strange, some kind of energy that's emitting from it. Yeah, I'll just say that at a low whisper so everyone can hopefully hear. And,
Yeah.
I'm going to move to the back to cover the doorway that we all came through.
Okay. So is anyone going in, or are you going to leave it alone and move on?
Don't know, it's up to Cesora at the moment.
How far away is he from me?
Sorry, beg your pardon?
How far away is he in feet?
So you're going to creep in, was that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Using myself, I'm going to try and do sneaky.
Okay. What's your stealth?
19.
Okay, roll a d20 and tell me what you get.
4.
Okay, you slink in, keeping to the shadows at the back of the room,
Yep.
staying really low and using the table for cover, and you get right up, and he still doesn't seem to have seen you yet.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll look at the others and go, sort of like signal, do you want me to caution?
Oh, sorry, what was that?
do you want to caution? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Did I get the sense that, sorry, my dog was like barking like a maniac, that he was indeed real, but didn't have an aura?
There was no substance, there was no aura. It was just like he was a thin, insubstantial wisp of magic.
Okay, yeah, well, I'll just shake the head and say, I don't think he's real. There's something, I feel something's not right.
See these magical swords we have, James? Did they actually glow if anything is off?
No, they just don't really need maintenance. Don't break usually, and they can hit things that normal weapons can't.
And they cut things in half.
Yeah,
Not people.
pretty handily. Yeah.
Can I try and get any standing near the doorway and as quietly as possible? Try to get a vibe from the man that's in there.
Yeah. Okay. You wiggling closer, and sort of reach out with your mind, but there's nothing there.
I'm going to whisper to the rest of the party. I can't sense anything of the man at all. He doesn't seem to be there.
An illusion.
He's not real.
Fine. Ready your
A
weapons.
very
and-
powerful illusion, if that's the case.
Ready your weapons and be prepared to have my back. I'll see what he wants.
If this is another lich, you guys, I'm fucked.
So, with our assassin friend hiding beneath the table, Cesora, Elaine, I take it more boldly because it's hard to be stealthy in plate mail, moves in. Okay, the man turns and smiles as he sees you come in. Ah, welcome. Please, take a seat. My name is Olthas. Will you join me in my repast? I can offer venison or beef, perhaps some hot mulled wine.
I'm afraid I don't accept food from men who live in caves.
His smile freezes for a moment. Yes, well, suit yourself, Sir Knight. Tell me, what brings you here?
I am looking for an item of great value.
And what would that be?
Perhaps first you should tell me what you are doing living in this hovel.
Nobody bothers me here.
A hermit. Acceptable.
Of a sort. Now, I'm happy to feed you, but I would beg you not to ransack my home.
Honor drives directing me to treat this man very well. He seems nice. You have my words. We will not ransack your house, but
Is there anything
Are they friends with you?
a few.
Would they care to eat? Perhaps not everyone has the same rule about men in caves.
Is there anything happening, like, peering around? Anything happening with the wall where I saw the aura while this interaction is taking place?
Roll a d20 under your perception.
Oh, 21. Oh, yeah, there it is. A whopping 5.
So that should be under your perception, probably.
I think it's 6 if I remember correctly. Sorry, I have a few things open. My Dragon Warriors book. Perception 6. Oh Jesus, yeah, just.
Okay,
yeah.
so you track down to where this. Well, you've probably still got some of the site up. So you track it back to where it sort of met the wall, and there's a small round hole in the wall there, kind of back in the densest part of the shadow, big enough maybe for a child to crawl in and out of.
Okay. I'll whisper that again, that detail to the others. And now.
Well, yeah, and Alfar calls out, "Ho, fellows, come in,
Yeah.
join the good Sir Knight."
I thought you were trying to be stealth. Fine. Come in. You've already given yourself away.
Are the rest of you going in then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
All of you?
No.
I assume Beck is hanging back then.
Okay, so
I'm going to wait outside the portal in the main ante-chamber.
no. So many visitors. Normally I wouldn't like that, but somehow it's pleasant to see you. Now, would anyone care for a drink or some food?
I don't mean to be blunt, sir, but can I ask, are you real?
Am I real? Pfft. He rolls his eyes towards the heavens, and as he does, A thick and unnatural mist abruptly pours out of the walls, and you all feel dizzy and disoriented, and directions seem to stretch in all ways and from you. All your senses suddenly seem dulled and bewildered, and this man, Alpha, appears to disappear.
I knew it.
At the same instant, outside in the hallway, where Becca's standing guard, suddenly a section of the ceiling and a section of the walls collapses, and a handful of sharp-toothed, green-skinned goblins pour out and ambush you.
Oh, they are real.
I knew it.
But you were ready, so we'll go on normal initiative, but they are faster than you. Okay, so they go first. Okay, so how many could attack you at once? 3, maybe. What's your defense split 3 ways?
My defense is 9.
So 3 through 3?
3, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so they come bursting out of the walls and a shower of dirt and gravel and grit, and already hacking at you with rusty, horrible-looking short swords. One managed to land a blow. You parried the other and shoulder barged the other goblin out of the way. What's your armor level?
4.
Okay, the blade comes in under your chain shirt and stabs you in the side for 5 points of damage.
Ouch.
Yeah, so you got a nasty rusty dagger in the ribs for your trouble. And then it's your go.
Right. Alarm! Right, I'll stab at the one that stabbed me. With a straight thrust, I'm holding
Yeah.
with a reverse grip of the claymore.
Okay, its defense is 7.
Right, my attack is 17, so it's 10 or less.
Yeah.
I rolled a 6.
Okay.
Yeah, as a hit.
You're using a magic sword, aren't you? So yeah, it'll automatically penetrate armor damage.
Ouch. 12 hits.
Okay.
Oh, still no correction. 13 hits.
13 hits. Okay. So yeah, they burst out of everywhere and attack you. You parry one, shoulder barge the other. The last one gets in at your side with the dagger. You manage to bring your sword around and impale that one against the wall. Shrieks and hisses and scrabbles feebly at the blade for a moment before stilling. Right. Meanwhile, inside, you're not even sure where each other are. It's just this mist and this distorted space seems to go on everywhere. Caesura, what do you want to do?
Would I know anything about blind fighting at all?
I think you get that kind of skill later on, I think. But you probably know the rudiments.
Yeah. Did I hear anything else come into the room by the rest of the group?
Nope.
Okay. How misty is it?
Like you can see an arm's length in front of you, and that's about it.
So it's like pea soup then.
Yeah.
Right. Have a quick scan in the room and see if there's any other ways out by the way we came in.
You can't really see anything, and you're completely disoriented.
Right. You said I was at the actual table.
Yeah,
that
but
actually
now you
underneath
don't seem to be. You just seem to be sort of crouching in the floor in the middle of nowhere.
Right. How high up does this actual pea soup go? Is it like from the waist up, or is it all over the room?
You stand all the way up, and it goes up as high as you can see. I think that's about as much as I can let you do for a turn.
Okay, no, pass. Pass on to now.
Yeah. Okay, so he can't do anything. Right. A goblin replaces his fallen brother, and they continue to press the attack on Becca. Shrieking and hissing and chattering their teeth. And... What was your armor again? You're muted.
4.
4. Right. So 2 blows just smack into your armor. The tip of one of the short swords breaks off. They're that old and rusty and pitted. 1 manages to cut you across the back of your hand for 2 health of damage.
Oh dear. This is not funny.
Weight of numbers. And it's your go.
Well, I'm going to try to decapitate the one on my left.
Haven't really got room for that kind of swing.
Sorry. Stab. I'm just stabbing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Oh no, 20.
So, fuck up. But I won't be extra mean and roll a fumble or anything. Okay, so you stab up one of the goblins. He just easily ducks under the blade. You really,
Alarm! Alarm!
You prefer to fight where you've got more room, so this is really kind of pressing you. Okay. 1 second, I just need to check something quickly. So, Sir Alain, you suddenly find yourself in this expanse of mist. What do you want to do about it?
I'm going to try to, pull my hands over my mouth, try and not breathe anymore because it's gagging, and get away, get out of this mist. I hate it.
Okay, so you pick a direction and quick march. Okay. If you were still in the chamber, you should have hit the wall by now. It wasn't that far across, and yet you're still marching on. It's deeply unsettling and disturbing. Carrick.
Yeah. Well, I kind of plan to kind of shift kind of backwards gingerly, trying to get my back to a wall.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you shift back, You think you should be at the wall, but it's not there. It's the same sensation that you might get if you get up really late at night to go to the toilet, right? And it's really black, and you're trying to remember the layout of your house, and the wall's always that little bit further than you think it is, or that little bit closer. You're just not finding your way at all. The mist just seems to distort the space in here, make it bigger somehow.
And we can't. Did we hear the call for help, or was that caught in the miasma?
No, that will have been muffled.
Yeah. Okay. So I can't use that as a beacon. I'll just again, try to go back as carefully as I can. Mm-hmm. I'll try and shouting for the others.
Yeah. You can almost feel that your voice is being stifled. It's like someone's got their hand over your mouth. So, Brother Abbas.
I'd like to try and unslung my bow, and using the wooden part, use it almost like a stave, like a walking stick, to try and get my bearings and try and find a wall or a table or something.
Yeah, okay. You reach around, lunge around, and suddenly the tip of your bow strikes part of the wall, and as it does, that part of the mist parts slightly, and you can see Becca engaged in heated battle with a pack of goblins, with one dead one, feet bleeding out on the stone.
I'll hastily draw my sword and move forward to help her.
So move into battle. Right. Everyone's had a go, haven't they? So next turn. Caesura. What do you want to do?
Try and retrace my steps back to the opening, which I think should be blah.
Okay. Yeah, you blindly grope around in the mist. You should have reached a wall by now, but it's not there, and there's no. You can't feel the table. Even the floor underneath you feels strange. It was rough-hewn stone slabs, but now the ground beneath you feels smooth. It's just weird.
Does it feel like marble?
Almost, yeah. Right. The goblins can't really get past. Well, you moved forward, didn't you, Abbas? So, but still, only 3 of them can attack at once. Okay, 2 of them continue to press the attack on Becca. 1 of them moves to meet Brother Abbas. What's Brother Abbas's defense?
My defense is 6.
6. Okay. Right. So one of these goblins lunges forward at you. It's got this old, pitted, rusty short sword. It's wearing tattered scraps and remnants of leather. He's filed his teeth into points, and there's a whole bunch of mismatched earrings in one ear. And it just comes right at you, but you manage to sort of step back smartly so his swing misses. Becca, you're only defending against 2 now, so that's, 5 defense against 1, 4 against the other?
Yeah.
Okay. That seems to make all the difference. Without having that third one attacking you, you easily just sort of barge them to one side and the other, using your superior bulk to keep them back away from you. And it's your go.
Right, I'm going to try to stab at one with the tip of my claymore.
Okay.
Yes, 10.
Which was enough to hit, wasn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
So damage.
Oh, 5.
No, that's enough. Okay. Yeah, you drive your blade into this one's gut and sort of lift him up and stab him into the ceiling, and then drag your sword out again, and the body just falls at your feet with a thump. Another one of the goblins takes his place, climbing over the body.
We are ambushed! Alarm!
Sir Alain? Can't see, can't breathe. Get out of here. I stumble around. Get out.
Okay. Out of pure luck, you stumble into the entrance, and suddenly there's the sounds of battle, and you see Brother Abbas and Becca engaged in a fight for their lives with a pack of goblins, though several lay slain.
Dirty blighters! I'll kill you all! Draw my sword and charge at them.
Okay, you can engage with them next turn. Okay. Kerridan,
Yes.
what do you wish to do?
Well, again, just try and retrace my steps, trying to call out, where am I? And try and feel for the wall if possible.
Yeah. You think you see a blue light in the near distance, and it's a landmark at least, so you move a bit towards that, but then it winks out and reappears in another direction. It's like the place is toying with you. Right, Brother Abbas.
I'll take a swing at the goblin in front of me.
Okay. Take its defense 7 away from your attack and roll under that. Well, equal or under.
Defense is 7, did you say?
Yep.
My attack's 13. 18, so no.
No. Okay. So you counter swing, but suddenly being confronted with such a vicious little beast after being lost in that strange mist is put you off your stroke, so to speak. Right. Next turn. Scizora.
Have I managed to get my bearings, or am I still having a rummage around in this?
If you're keeping moving, then I'm afraid you're still lost at the moment.
Okay.
So there's not really a lot else you can do.
Oh, I wish I had blind fighting you.
Something for the future.
Only for the future, if I live to fight another day. Yeah. If I shut my eyes, basically, and I actually sort of like do a 360-degree sweep.
Yeah, can you make a perception roll, please?
Yes, I can. Perception. Where I go? There's perception. I got the grand total of any minuses or pluses to that.
No, just your perception or under.
3.
Okay. The room is bigger than it was before.
Right.
It's not... This isn't an illusion. The mist has somehow changed the physical properties of the world that you find yourself in.
Right.
So, yeah, very strange. Just a sec, I need to look something up. Right. At the back of the ranks of goblins, a new goblin appears. At least you think it's another goblin. This one wears a bright red cap and carries a stick with some bones and feathers and things tied to the end of it.
Oh, not a red cap.
What's wrong with red cats? They're cool.
He's going to kill me.
He gestures with the stick towards Becca. What's your evasion?
6.
6. Right. The blast of magic misses you and strikes the wall of the barrow, and where the magic strikes, a bunch of thorns and brambles sort of burst out of the stone momentarily and then almost instantly crumble away again. Alright, so it's the goblins now. Still 2 on Becca, 1 on Brother Abbas. None of them manages to land a decent blow. So they're just parrying back and forth with you or bouncing off your armour. Too weak and goblin-y to really do much in the way of damage. Alright, Becca's go.
Was I going to stab at another goblin?
Okay. Now that you can hear more people behind you, you can sort of press the attack forward and open out the space so that more people can be engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far away am I from the red cap?
He's behind the row of goblins. If you manage to slay a goblin this strike, you can sort of move through.
Well, that's the plan.
Attack
That's the
him
plan.
next turn. Yeah.
Yeah, 9 to hit. Yeah, that's a hit.
Yeah. And damage?
Come on. With my... Oh, again. 13 hits.
Nice.
Okay. So yeah, seeing this bolt of magic narrowly miss you, you drive your blade forward and stab one of the goblins through the mouth and out the back of his head. carrying his now lifeless corpse forward as you move in towards this red-capped thing. There's 3 goblins left, and there's now 3 of you capable of fighting, so that's 1 each. That works out nicely. Right, so Elaine.
I want to charge at the red cap.
Through the gap, alongside
Yes.
Becca, yeah. Okay, yeah, you can hurtle yourself forward. What's your attack?
My attack is 16.
Okay, its defense is 7, so 9 or under.
Ah, 1.
Okay, your blade looks as if it's going to strike true, and then rebounds as if hitting an invisible wall around him. There's a bang and a puff of smoke from one of his ears, and an earring that he was wearing has shattered where you struck him.
Oh,
Carradine, still trying to find the way out?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was just sorry looking at my spells there. I guess there doesn't seem to be. I was thinking about casting a pier. Would that perhaps grant me some kind of some kind of stability at all, or
Let me look it up.
I'm probably been a little bit optimistic with it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm easy going. Was it a pier?
It's pier.
Yeah.
Level 2, and it's.
Yeah, I'd allow you to use that.
Oh,
So
cool.
that's 2 magic points.
Damn, that's 4 done. I'd like to, as I said, make some kind of magical flourish and mumble some kind of crazy words and try and project the peer spell so I can kind of try and see where I am going, or where, to give me some bearings on what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
Basically.
The mist is a fairly low power transmutation, and using the peer spell, you're able to cut through the mist and see the sort of distorted landscape around you, and step the right way, and you sort of step through the veil of the mist and into the exit corridor, into the midst of battle.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I presume I can't do
Really
anything.
do anything else other than act surprised.
Cool.
Yeah.
At least.
Right, Brother Abbas.
I'm going to try again to hit the goblin in front of me.
Okay, its defense is 7.
So I need 6 or less. Nope, I got a 20.
Okay, you slash out, miss, your sword rebounds off the wall, and the vibration numbs your fingers a bit. Right. Caesura.
Any joy of
The mist has weakened, and now you finally find your way. You sort of dimly hear the sounds of battle, and with your perceptive training, that's enough to get you in the right direction. So you also pass out of the mist next to Carradine.
Okay.
But that's all you can do this turn.
Right, okay. I was going to say something, but that's all I can do. I'm out, fine.
Yeah. Right. The red-capped goblin makes a wild gesture again, this time towards Sir Alain. What's your evasion?
my evasion is 6.
Okay. The blast of magic strikes you, and you are encased in a sort of cocoon of brambles and thorns, which prick at your armour. Not really getting through, but you are unable to move for the moment. So you're tangled and held in place. Magic users are sons of bitches. Right. the remaining goblins. One of them attempts to stab the helpless Sir Elaine. And gets a hit. What's your armor rating?
My armor
isn't
rating is 5.
Gets past your armor and does 4 health of damage.
Later.
Takes his time coming in behind you and wedges his short sword up between the plates of your armor and into your flesh. Ow. What's Becca's defense? Never mind, it missed. And what's Brother Abbas's defense?
My defense is 6.
6. Okay. It gets through while you're sort of recovering from your overswing. What's your armor rating?
3.
Okay, it just clangs off your armor and fails to penetrate, sort of cuts your tunic, but doesn't get through the chain links beneath. Right, that's them done. Becca's go.
Okay, so there's nothing between me and the red cap now, is there?
No, but Sir Elaine next to you just got encased in brambles and thorns.
Is there room to get a swing on?
Yes, there is.
Right, I'm going to charge at it then.
Give it your best ninja.
Yeah.
Okay, its defense is 7.
Press a roll of that's 8, so that's a hit, I think. I got
Yeah, so it's same difficulty as the other goblins.
Yeah.
It's automatically going to penetrate armor. So damage.
7.
7. Okay.
Well, rush forward and slash at it.
Okay. Yeah. So your sword comes around in a wide swing. It desperately tries to throw itself back out of the way, but you carve a great ragged line across its chest. It shrieks, but it's still alive. It hisses at you. How dare you touch me, food! So, Elaine, you are bound, but I just rolled the spell expiry and it actually happens. So the thorns crumble around you.
Oh, well.
I'll show you who's food. Downward swing on the head.
Go for it. Its defense is 7.
So that means I have to roll under a... My attack is 16.
So 9 or under.
Don't forget to add your +3.
Add my +3
From your sword, your magic sword.
on my sword.
That
So
increases
that's
your attack. So it'll be
12
12.
or under.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hit.
Okay, it's automatically going to get past armor. Damage?
I think 5. Yes, 5
Okay.
damage.
You bring your sword down hard on the top of its brain pan, cleaving its cap and hacking your sword all the way down through its head, down just above its sort of jawline. So a good solid hack.
Not laughing no more.
No. Kerridan.
Place my foot clean on its chest and push it off my sword.
How many do we have left?
3.
Is there any? Sorry?
3.
3. I would like to again. Well, I'm just asking you as a player before I'd like to cast a dragon breath. Is that obviously it's magical flame, but would there be any risk of like hitting another player with it or setting?
No, it's by default it's a single attack. I'll let people bend the rules last time and do it as a slight area attack, but really it's just a single attack on one goblin.
Okay,
so you'll
perfect.
be fine. So that's 1 magic point, I think.
Yep. So
And it's speed 12, I think.
Here we go.
It's evasion. Okay. Right. Do you want to roll?
Yeah. Oh, well, I rolled a 6, but if you want
Okay,
to...
yep, that hits. I got 6 as well, as it happens. Roll damage.
Yeah, so... sorry. Did you say roll d12 for damage?
No, I said roll damage, whatever the damage for that spell is.
Oh, sorry. It's... Okay, I say 1d6 plus 6. So 5 plus 6, 11.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you utter the invocation, and a gout of dragon fire spurts forth from your mouth, and a fiery vomit strikes one of the goblins and just incinerates the sort of rear half of his body, charring him down to the bone, and he just falls steaming to the ground.
I fiend.
Brother Abbas.
I will attempt to the goblin in front of me again.
Yep, go for it. His defense is still 7.
No, 18.
not doing too well.
Tough.
Caesora, you're at the back of the pack. There are 2 goblins left.
Is the red cap still standing, or is it down?
No, he's had a sword smashed into his head.
Okie dokie. Fire my crossbow. Try and get a headshot at one of the one of the goblins using my crossbow.
Okay.
You have to draw your crossbow.
True.
Hmm?
Yeah, you can't switch weapons.
That
Alright.
quickly and that
Awesome.
easily.
And span it as well.
You got a throwing dagger or anything?
A close for a crossbow arm. Not crossbow, crossbow bolt arm.
Yeah, you can lodge
Okay.
that at him.
Okay.
I
Roll.
hate to be a rules lawyer.
It won't do much. Roll your attack, or under.
Would that be reflexes?
No, just attack.
Okay, dokie. Attack 14. Anything added or minus?
Nope.
I got a grand total of 3.
So that's a hit. Okay.
Yep.
It's not the best thing for throwing. It's hard to get enough oomph behind it, but it does strike one of the goblins across the back of the head and bruise him. So better than nothing. Right. The remaining 2 goblins back off, disengage, and start running away towards the entrance. Becca.
I'm not going to chase. I'm going to pause because I'm bleeding heavily.
Yeah, and catch your breath. Okay. So, Elaine?
I'll give chase.
Okay. You've got longer legs than them, so you catch up to the rearmost one. What do you want to do? Just hack him in the back?
Yes.
Okay. He can't really defend himself, so roll your attack or under.
I miss.
Okay. You swing, but he's having it away on his toes. And you just narrowly miss. Kerridan?
I'm going. I'm starting to run low on magic points, so I'm going to just go and see if I can bandage someone up.
Yeah.
To giving chase.
10 to Becca. Brother Abbas?
Is the goblin in front of me run off now with the other
Yeah,
2?
he's turned and run.
I won't give chase.
Okay. So yeah, they're away. So end of combat.
Cowards, face me!
Oh, well, fancy that. Fancy that. Goblins are real.
Of course they are.
As it turns out.
And that room was very strange.
We suspected it was a trap, and yet we walked straight into it regardless. We're fools. And I'll show you who's food. What sort of comeback is that?
It's
So
good for the maggots now.
It's the heat of the moment.
It's always the way. You think of the better comebacks later on.
Has the pea soup died down yet, James, or is it still active?
Is the what, sorry?
Has the pea soup died down now, or is it
Yes,
active?
the mist has completely dissipated now. There is food
whilst-
in the room. It seems to be genuine, non-illusory, and it's all laid out on silver plates.
whilst everybody's doing what they're doing, I'm gonna like clean the wound
Yep.
that the goblin did with this little dagger.
Yeah, it's very
My
dirty,
water
the
scanner.
wound, from the rust, and it looks like the goblins were smearing something on their blades. So yeah, you give it a good rinse and a clean.
Yeah.
I'll check the red cap, James. Well,
Okay.
what's left on?
He's very dead. What's he got on him? He has several potion bottles.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4 potion bottles, and a short sword that looks shiny and new, unlike the ones that the other goblins had.
Okay, I'll look at the bottles. Do they have any scripture or any glyphs on them, like skull and crossbones or anything?
One of them's filled with a sort of yellowish, gritty-looking substance rather than the liquid. 2 of them are swirling with smoke. And the last one contains a dark green fluid. But they're not labelled anyway.
Right. Well, pocket the sword. Well, put the sword to one of my slots there.
Yeah.
Obviously, the 2 of the smoke are obviously smoke bombs of some sort, I think.
Yeah.
So I pocket them for my own use. And who seems to be the spark in the group, as in the mage?
That's Kerridan.
Right, I'll walk up to Kerrick and go, any ideas?
Can I discern what may be in these at all?
Yeah. So, yeah, 2 of them appear to be vials of smoke. So when you shatter them, they'll pour out smoke and obscure vision in an area. You think the grit is a sands of slumber, which can send someone to sleep. You don't know for sure what the green potion is. It could be one of many things.
Okay, well, I'll tell them that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. Do you want either of the potions I'm having, the smoke ones, but do you want any of the other ones, the yellow or the green one?
Well, you could probably use them. You take the green one if you want for safety or something, but you keep them for now anyway.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Many thanks.
No problem.
How badly hurt is Becca?
I went half hits. I'm at 7 hit points down.
Okay.
I can
Not laughing.
I have lesser healing here, so I can heal 2 points.
That'd be much appreciated.
Yeah, so I will go over to look at the most serious area of the wounds and again make a gesture and mumble some words and heal 2 points.
Okay, so yeah, you clean out the wounds. They are pretty filthy. God knows what the goblins were sticking their blades in. But yeah, you clean them out and then heal so that you're not sort of healing over the filth and sealing it in. And Becca can have 2 hit points back.
Can I just ask, in regards to the invigorate spell I have at level 1, that can only heal me, can't it?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah. Right. So with everyone cleaned up and recovered, do you want to press on?
Yeah.
What? Can I look at the hole in the wall as well? That the gas came from.
Yeah, you can crouch down and look in there. It's freshly scuffed. It looks like a crawl space, but it's too small for any of you to fit in. Maybe the goblins have their own separate set of tunnels dug in here. That would explain how they managed to get around behind you and attack Becca.
I won't be crawling in after them.
I'm going to go into the. I'm going to quickly go into the other room and just grab a bite to eat and a mouthful of drink.
It looks really nice, this food, and it fills you up, and you can feel it sustaining you, but it's just a hell of a lot more bland than it looks.
I think I'll just stick to my iron rations.
Right. Pressing on then, once you get yourselves back in order. So you pass by this blocked off tunnel that I mentioned ages ago, off to your right. It's almost completely blocked by rocks, apart from a gap at the top, and there's a foul smell issuing forth from it.
Does it smell like rotten meat or rotten corpse?
Latrine.
All of the above, perhaps?
I don't fancy finding out what's on the other side.
Could be a goblin cabinet, not cabinet.
Latrine.
Storage.
Larder?
No, that's what ladder. Yeah, you get the goblin's ladder where they've stored their victims for later use. Yeah.
Perhaps on our way out, if we haven't found anything of worth,
Then
we'll
you can
check
have a
this
look.
place last.
Okay.
Good idea?
Good idea.
Yeah.
So leaving the stink behind, you cautiously press on. You pass by another entrance to your left as you shuffle along this low central hall. It looks like there's another chamber beyond, down a short, narrow passage.
Do you want me to go up ahead again?
Alright. I'll stay behind and be ready to jump out if anything untoward shows itself.
Okay.
I'll sneak it up ahead, James.
Yeah. All right. You creep ahead, sort of pressing to the wall, trying to stay in the shadows, letting your eyes adjust to the dim spillover light from the lantern. And you enter into a chamber with two tall stone pillars rising from floor to ceiling. In the dim light, you can just about make out that this is all full of hunting paraphernalia. There are ancient rotten quivers with rusted and rotten arrows, heavy iron spears that have almost completely rusted away. There's also a pair of dogs, but they're clearly not moving, and they're emaciated and dark brown and wrapped in sackcloth.
How big are
They're pretty big, like Irish wolfhound sort of size.
Would there be worth anything on the black market?
Mummified dogs? Hard to tell. I'm sure. Well, yeah, there's
Are
a
they
buyer for
actually
anything.
living?
No, they're not. They're not living. They're very dead. You sort of get closer and peer at them. Yeah, the eyeballs are shriveled back into the skulls. The skin's all taut. What's left of the fur is extremely threadbare, and they're just preserved in a sort of sitting at attention position.
So they've been embalmed.
Possibly.
Right. Is there any other visible doors in this room, or is it just one main?
There's a little sort of crawl hole at the back, but again, too small for you guys to fit through.
Okay, I'll stealthy walk back and explain to the others what's on this room.
Yeah.
Storage room, it seems.
Could be a trophy room as well, yeah.
Did you look at anything?
Rotten quivers, rusted weapons, 2 dogs, 2 pillars from floor to ceiling. And there's a makeshift goblin passageway with goblin size at the far wall.
Not really anything there. So
Yeah, nothing of use.
you carry on down this central chamber. You're sort of having to snake between pillars as you make your way along. And then there's another narrow opening to the right, which appears that there's another chamber beyond.
Yeah, let's peer inside.
Okay, you move forward, lift up your lantern. There's a couple of rusted lengths of chain hanging between two stone pillars that again rise floor to ceiling in here. And beneath these rusted lengths of chain is a slightly battered bronze cauldron laying on its side.
Is there anything actually in this cauldron, or
You peer into the cauldron. There doesn't appear to be anything in there. Some residue of something, but God knows what it is.
goblin soup?
Getting a closer look at it in the lamplight, you can see that it's got crude depictions of huntsmen and bears and dogs all around it.
Interesting. And you said it's got chains supporting it from the ceiling down, yeah?
It did, but the chains have rusted through until the cauldron fell off.
Right. Any other ways in or out of this place?
No, not even any crawl spaces.
Oh, right, okay.
Doesn't look like this was used by the goblins.
Well, true. Unless it was their eating quarter.
Well, it certainly hasn't been used recently.
Right, okay.
It's a nice cauldron.
How big is it?
Big.
Sorry, I was just at the room.
A room's largely empty. There's some rusted chains hanging from the ceiling and a big brass cauldron with some crude depictions of huntsmen and dogs and bears. Oh my.
It seems to be a decent enough cauldron for what it was, shall we say, as well.
Well, if you want to carry it out of here for free.
Not really. It's probably bigger than I am.
You can always tie it to
I
the
might-
mule later.
I'm actually quite surprised how they got it down here, James. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you've got the hunting thing back there. Now you've got this here. These might be offerings or something for the king, or things he was buried with, perhaps.
Right.
Let's press on.
Because he was buried with all his artifacts, so we were told.
Yeah. Right. This time, the opening is to the left, and again, it seems like there's another chamber beyond, and there is a similar but not quite as bad stink coming out of that chamber.
What did it smell of this time?
Rotting meat.
Again,
No.
I do not want to unearth anything. Ugh.
Sneaky where the smell's coming from, I'll walk up to it.
So you're going to head in there?
Yes, sneaky job.
Okay. So again, you stick to the shadows.
Yep.
Wait for your eyes to adjust and creep slowly forward. Your foot hits some bones on the floor, and then as your eyes fully adjust, you see that the room is littered with broken glass, broken pottery, split drinking horns, worm-eaten wooden platters, stone pitchers, buckets, and there's bones all over the floor, and hanging from crude ropes between the pillars in this room are meaty pieces of human bodies.
Does it look like the previous party who came down here by any chance?
Quite possibly.
Are they still clothed, or are they been flayed of their skin and their arm on
Any
that.
any goods they had on them have been destroyed or stripped off them. Yeah, it's just really body parts and bones now.
Right. This is basically a banquet hall of some sort.
Yeah, the goblin equivalent, perhaps.
Yeah.
Oh
God,
dear.
I wish we had a priest. I wish we had a priest in the party. Do you have a priest in the party?
You've got Brother Abbas, he's a monk.
Yeah,
That's-
Brother Abbas. Well,
Do you want to give this room a cleanse if you can?
Certainly. I'll pull out my. Well, I know I've got that reliquary, so I'll use that because it's the
Yeah.
holiest item I've got on me.
Okay. So yeah, you clear a space in the bones, crouch down for a moment, and you utter your prayers and devotions. And it doesn't improve the smell, but you all feel a bit more at peace knowing that any restless souls that have been eaten are perhaps free to have moved on now.
I'll flip I'll flip a floor into the brother for
For his
cleansing
trouble. For the church.
for the church.
Right. You reach the end of this main sort of grand hallway now. And it ends at a deep pit spanned by a narrow spike of rock. On the far side, there's a ledge in front of a heavy stone doorway. The surface of the door is intricately carved with 3 intertwined curving lines forming a triskel. Down in the pit, your lanterns reveal a writhing mass of snakes slithering about and around each other,
Ah, not snakes.
eyes glittering in the dark. In the midst of the snakes, and the thing which they all seem to be writhing around, is a wooden staff, sort of upright, with the snakes all writhing around it. And in the air just above the staff, as though it were a jewel set in it, but floating a few inches higher, is a round object, leathery and white, that looks somewhat like an egg.
Can I make a makeshift lasso and try and
Try and loop it.
yeah.
Yeah, you can try. Hang on. Okay, it's going to be very, very difficult to catch it that way. But you can
Yeah.
just keep trying until you do, I suppose.
I'll keep it. I'll spend a little while sort of like trying to persevere.
What's your reflexes?
16.
16. Okay, right. So you can shuffle out onto this thin span of stone, and then you can lower down sort of directly where the egg is.
Yeah.
And to use like a slip knot on the rope to try and tighten around it.
Yeah.
So that's easier. Right, roll a d20 equal to or under your reflexes.
Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. I got a 1.
Oh,
Okay, you carefully, slowly manage to draw this egg up. Once you get closer to it and get it into your hand, it loses that leathery look and seems much more solid and glassy, like a polished fossil.
What about the staff it was on? What's that? Is that just like a pedestal thing the egg was
Well,
actually on?
Looking back down as the others hold up their lanterns to shed more light, you see the staff, but you can't see the snakes anymore, and the staff sort of slowly crumbles to dust.
All right, okay.
It's be some sort of jewel of snake casting.
Yeah, well, I'll start working my way back up slowly.
What, back to where the guys are on the other side, or do you want to go all the way across to the door?
No, I'll go back to the other guys.
Okay.
Anyone have any ideas?
I could have a look see.
Right,
Because I
I'll
have
give them.
found- Am I right assigning that to the enchantment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to make a spell exhaustion roll? Or is that a natural ability? I forget.
I have to adopt.
Maybe not. No, it's not a spell. It's a natural ability. Let me just look it up quickly. Mystics. Special abilities.
Like just before special abilities on spell mastery.
Oh, yeah, it's the one that's permanently... So it is a spell, but it's one that's permanently on for you.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Okay, it's definitely magical, and you don't get any sort of evil vibes off it, but serpents have meant different things in different cultures and different times, so...
I can't sense anything evil from it, but serpents, I've met, serpents in any religion mean different things. So I can't discern what the serpent, why it appears to summon serpents. Or at least an illusion of serpents.
What colour is it, James? What colour is it?
So translucent white,
All right.
like a white marble.
Like the dogs were Snow White. Yeah.
Yeah, but much more uniform, like a single colour.
All right.
I presume I can't. I can't really know anything about it.
No.
My
With some time and research, you probably be able to figure it out.
perhaps later.
So,
Yo, old school, I think. You're breathing into your mic quite loudly.
Is that?
Someone's
big is it?
breathing into that mic quite loudly. I think it's old school.
How big is it?
what, the egg? It's
Yeah.
3 inches diameter.
All
So pretty small.
So it's not that big.
Yeah.
So it's not that big. Yeah.
But the only way onward is for you all to cross this this thin stone wedge to reach the door on the other side.
Is it only wide enough for one across at a time, I take it?
Yeah.
It's simple enough.
Now the snakes aren't there, it's not quite so daunting.
Yeah. Just look around, see if there's anything to tie a rope onto on our side.
Yeah, there's a
there are
pillar not
pillars,
too far
yeah.
back, so you could tie yourself off on that.
So I'll tie a rope onto the pillar, and then take someone else's rope if anyone wants to give me a rope.
Yep, I'll lend you my rope.
Tie one rope onto me, the other rope onto the pillar that I'm going to walk across,
Yeah.
and then walk across.
Yeah.
So I'm quite good at balancing.
And then you can tie the rope off on the other side, and that could be like a handhold
Yeah.
for everybody else. Yeah. Yeah, you all make your way over with that's help without plummeting. Yeah, like I said, it's a lot less daunting without the snakes there, even though the balancing is the same. You just don't feel quite as off. Okay, so you all reach the other side, and there is this big round stone door with this triple spiral pattern graven into it.
Examine the door, obviously, carefully.
Walking across a narrow ledge is more of my forte. brother, this seems to be something you're more specialized in. Father Maleficus. Father Maleficus. Yeah, that's your name.
It's Brother Abbas you've got with you, not the priest.
Damn
Mystic.
it. Brother Abbas.
Much easier name too. I mean, the symbol, it's an ancient one, but it doesn't seem that relevant. You think that this is just a heavy stone door, it just needs to be rolled aside.
Can I put my hand on the door and try and get a feeling?
Yeah. Okay. You rest your hand upon the stone and reach out with your senses. You feel the sheer press and weight of age upon it. The regard that generations past had for whomsoever happens to be buried here. And you also feel a threat beyond the portal. Something waiting and watching.
I'll take my hand off the door, turn around to the rest of the party, and say, I do feel a great weight of certainly history and age, and of whoever's buried here, the reverence that they were held with. But certainly, there's also a sense of a threat, presence, watching, waiting for us. So I suggest we all be on our guard as best we can.
Just get ready to smite whatever is on the other side. Probably some ancient evil. Becca, do you want to help me shift this rock?
Okay, what's your what's your combined strength?
My strength is 12.
15.
So
Oh, man.
27. With a little bit of extra help from the others, sort of reaching over and past you to shove against the stone, it rolls aside with a sort of grind sound. So you push back the stone portal, and it leads into a wide chamber with sealed exits in the west, south, and northern walls. Your lantern light falls on 3 gaunt figures stood to attention in front of you. With a shudder, you behold their empty eye sockets and shriveled flesh, and their what's left of their musculature bound in sackcloth. These are husks of mighty warriors. Perhaps they were laid to rest here, but they've stood up and taken up their place in front of you as you've entered the barrow.
Oh,
Druga, get ready to fight!
no, I hate Druga.
Oh. Who's been playing Skyrim? James.
That's what we're calling them, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
what you chose to call them. Right.
It's a Celtic word for undead, isn't it?
Yeah. Right, they lurch into life. So, Cisora, you're the fastest.
Yes.
What do you want to do?
Are the corpses actually walking towards us? Or
They're sort of stood on guard with round metal shields. One of them has a sword, one of them has a one-handed axe, and the last one has a short spear with a barbed tip.
Right. Obviously, I'm using my common sense here. The one with the spear is obviously a magic user or something of the spiritual sort. Snap, crackle, pop, point my finger, which has got my ring on, and aim for his head.
Okay, so you're activating that spell.
Yes, that would be the ring of agonizing
Doom.
on
Right.
the head.
So that had speed 12, I think.
Yes.
So let's see if it manages to dodge. It does not
It's not
manage to
expected.
dodge. How much damage does it do?
2d8.
2d8.
Yep.
Will you roll that for me then?
15.
15, 14. Okay.
Damage minus armor, whatever that is.
Okay, so you raise your fist, and a bolt of green lightning flashes forth from the little chip of jade in the ring, and strikes it full on, crackling all around it, burning off some of the sackcloth, some of the sort of ancient mummified flesh sort of bursts apart in clouds of dust, and it sort of slumps slightly to one side, unable to hold itself up properly, but it is still standing. Becca.
Bugger.
Uh-oh.
At least I hurt the fucker.
Yeah. Becca?
Yeah, am I muted now?
Yeah.
I'm going to go for the one with the with the double bearded axe.
Yep.
And
its defense is 12.
Oof, right, so my attack is 20, so it's 8.
Yeah.
Yes, 2 to hit.
2 to hit. So, right, it's going to penetrate armor, so see if it hits the shield. Doesn't hit shield, roll damage.
Yes, 8 hits of damage.
Okay. Right, you close rapidly with the one with the axe. It raises its shield to try and block you, but you swing down on the opposite side and cleave into the side of its body slightly into the flesh, ripping apart ancient rusting mail. The flesh rips asunder, and a horrible-looking sort of blue dust billows out and drops to the floor, along with fragments of ancient straw.
Have some of that.
Still standing. Sir Elaine.
I'm going to run in after Becca and jab at the one that she just slashed.
Okay. No defense against you because it spent it all against Becca, so just roll your attack or under.
That's what I wanted. And a hit.
Okay. It's going to penetrate the armor, so roll damage.
8.
8 damage. Right. You thrust your Valandar sword clean through it, penetrating where its heart probably would be. It seems to glow for a moment, and then whatever unnatural necromantic power is holding it together breaks, and the whole body just sort of collapses like a bundle of twigs around the sword.
Aim for the wounded one next.
Kerridan.
Right. Well, I'm peeling back, and because I don't fancy going mano, and I will use a dragon breath on the one of the fresh ones, shall we say, and see
the one that hasn't been destroyed or hurt yet. Okay. Yep. So spend the magic points. It's 1 magic point for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's speed 12, evasion 4. Let's see if it manages to dodge. It doesn't. Roll damage.
Yes. Come on. 6, 9 in total.
Not the speediest things, these. Okay. It does manage to get its shield mostly in front of it. The dragon breath sort of melts the edges of it, so it eats away at the edges of the shield and singes the flesh beyond. And it's smouldering, not quite caught fire, but there's patches of it smouldering. And when it opens its mouth to sort of howl at you, sort of noise, smoke billows out.
Oh, cool.
Well, that sounds like my ex-girlfriend.
Brother Abbas.
I was asking, the reliquary I've got, I take it I'm wearing that, and it gives me a +2 bonus when attacking undead, doesn't it?
Yes, that's right.
I'll try and attack one with my sword then.
The damaged one, well, they're both damaged, but the one with the sword or the one with the spear?
The one with the sword.
Okay, so the smouldering one. Okay.
Yeah.
It's already used its defense, I think. So, no, that one hasn't. Right, its defense is 12, so take that away from your attack.
My attack will be with the +2. That's 15. Ooh, that's
So,
a roll really low.
one, 2, or 3 then.
I got a 6. Not quite enough.
No. Okay. Right. So it bats your blade aside with this sort of cherry red, glowing, smoking shield, but it was a good effort. Right. And that mummy with the blade sort of keeps its shield towards the others and slashes out towards you, Brother Abbas. What's your defense?
My defense is 6.
Okay. It strikes you with its blade, hitting you at the edge of the tip. What's your armor rating?
3.
You don't have a shield, do you?
No.
Okay, the blade bites into you and just bowls you over. Take 10 health of damage.
Oof.
Ouch.
Tickle, tickle.
Yeah, I've only got 2 health points left.
Okay, yeah, it's a horrible, grievous wound. It's cut deep into your shoulder, knocked you flying, and chipped the bone of the arm beneath. Right, and the one with the spear stabs back at Becca. What's Becca's defense?
My defense is 13, I think.
13.
12, sorry.
12. Okay. And what's your armor rating? 4?
4.
Okay. It stabs the point of the spear into you, but it gets caught up in the chain and fails to do anything more than graze you beneath. So you're alright. Next turn. Caesura.
Did you say to me before the game started that I can recharge this ring, or was it just 2-shot pony?
It's a two shots only for now. At some later date, someone might be able to recharge it.
Right. Go for the spear guy again with the ring.
With the ring. Okay.
That back and forth.
Right. Yeah. The green lightning flashes forth once more, and the ring's gem goes dim. But the green lightning sort of crackles all around it, travels up from its legs through its body. You see its rib cage and stuff glowing through, and then explodes outward from the head, showering you all with fragments of skull.
Oh!
Becca, there's one left, and it's just cleaved Brother Abbas.
Oh dear, right, so let's slice and dice. Right, full attack. Right, I'll start keening and frothing and spitting.
Yeah, it hasn't defended itself yet this turn, so it does have its defense of 12 against you.
And I'll berserk at it, full berserk.
Okay.
So I'll go from. Still be 1. Attack 3. So it's 23 attack, 1 defense.
Okay, so take away 12 from that, leaves you with 11.
3.
Okay, it's going to bypass armor automatically, so damage.
6.
6 damage. Okay. Right, you give a mighty swing. It just barely gets its shield in the way, but your heavy blade cleaves down through the shield and into part of its arm, knocking that arm broken and useless, dangling to the side. It drops the shield with a clang, but it's still active for now. So, Elaine?
Yes. Quick chop to the neck. And decapitate it.
It can't defend against you because it already used its defense, so just your attack or under.
Yeah. Oh, actually. Yeah, hit. But with 1. That's a
So
crit.
that's a crit. Automatically bypass armor would anyway. Roll damage twice.
I had a feeling. Oh, I only rolled a 3. I always. Oh. Okay. 3 plus 2 is 5 then.
Is it 5 damage? Okay, that was bad. But it's enough. Right, so you hack into its neck. It's really leathery and tough. Any normal thing, and you probably would have taken its head off in a single blow, but it takes another 2 strikes to get the head finally off. But all 3 of them are destroyed.
Every single time I roll a 1, I always roll really low on the damage. It's brilliant.
Right, so I'll pick up Brother Abbas from the floor because I'm next to him.
Okay. As you go to pick him up, the weapons that each of these creatures was holding sort of trembles where it lies on the floor, and then one after another, cutting across the room, they fly straight into the door of the stone portal in the west and embed themselves into the stone.
Were they standing upright, or were they sitting on like makeshift chairs or thrones?
There were 3 stone slabs. Looks like they were sort of laid down on them, but they'd got up before you came in.
Okay. Do they have any other persons on them, or just these fancy?
They just have this ancient gear out of their hands. It doesn't seem useful, really. And those 3 weapons that they were carrying are now lodged in the doorway.
Yeah, gets that.
Right, so there's back the way you came. There's the western portal, which has the weapons jabbed into it. And there's also smaller doors to the north and south of the room. But you may want to attend to your wounds and so on first.
How bad is Brother Abbas then?
He's near death, isn't he? He got cut in half.
Yeah, he took a lot of damage.
Basically, is he dying?
He's got some magic he can use to heal himself if necessary. He's not dying, he's just hurt.
Yeah, because I've got a whopping two magic points left, so I can. Sorry, Jim. When do the magic points? It's
at midnight usually. Yeah.
Yeah. So I could heal. Couple of points.
I think Ian can heal himself.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Right.
So if you want to handle that, Ian, if you know the rules.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Cool.
So it's is it 1? If it's a first level spell, that's 1 magic point, isn't it?
With mystics, it's exhaustion. No. So instead of magic points, so
that's the exhaustion. Sorry, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
You've got to save under 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Each time you cast, otherwise you get tired out.
I'm great. I rolled an 18.
Well, you do heal. You do heal whatever that gives you back. It's just you can't use any more spells.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perhaps stay in the back from now on.
Yeah. So what is the
don't
plan?
ask people if they're real or not.
If only we had some health potions. We had like a load of health potions, but we didn't realize how rare they were, and we drank them all in the first session.
Well, no, I mean, to be fair, we used one to save Caesora, didn't we?
Well,
sorry, Caridan.
Yeah.
Caridan, because she was almost dead.
Oh yeah, one of them was well spent, but the other 2 could have been
better spent.
Well, in future combats, I can stand at the back and shoot 1 of 6 magical arrows at the enemy, I suppose.
Yeah.
There is that green potion that was found, but we don't know exactly what that does, alas. So taking a risk.
Yes, we need to get to an alchemist with that to discern what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, but what do you want to do now then?
Press on.
Press forward to some of the other doors, do you think, guys?
Yeah, the other doors for.
So there's the one with the 3 weapons jammed into it, right?
See that later.
Or back the way you came, or there's 2 smaller doors, north and south.
Left, innit?
That's true.
Are you sticking to the left plan?
Looks like it.
Okay. So you unseal the door between you. It's another rolling rock door. And out from that door, you enter a slowly curving, narrower corridor where you have to march a single file, 1.5 file. And it slowly curves around to the right. A short distance onward, there's a branch off to the left, away from the curve. And that ends in another stone door. Or you can keep going around the curve.
Put my ear to the door. Do I hear anything?
Let's have a look. Nope, you don't hear anything.
Keyhole? Is there a keyhole?
Sorry, is there what?
Is there a keyhole?
No, there's no keyhole. It's one of those stone doors.
Stealthily open the door then.
You can't stealthily open a gigantic stone door. It's just not doable.
Let's push it open.
Okay. Between you grind the door back to one side, and your lantern light spills in and glitters off a fantastic array of gold and silver, plates, goblets, arm rings, brooches, buckles, cloak pins, all of it precious metals, many of them studded with jewels. It's just loads of it, just racked up on shelves.
That's what I'm talking about.
Boxes. There's a shitload of it.
Wait.
That's what I'm talking about, yes.
Don't you dare.
Does anything stand out of the ordinary, James, that shines the most?
It's all super shiny.
Using my see enchantment, can I detect if anything might be particularly?
Yeah, you sort of run your gaze over everything. You don't sense anything magical. Though Caesora's greed verges on supernatural.
No, Cecil dislikes the shiny, that's all.
I can't detect anything enchanted amongst this collection.
Do you seriously believe that there would just be a chamber full of gold?
Could have been the treasury.
How long would it take to enter this whole room, James?
There's about 60 encumbrance worth of items. So your mule can carry, what, about 20?
Most of that. Was it 40, I think? Was it 40 for a mule?
No, it's less than that.
Well, this game doesn't have bags of holding in it.
14 the mule can carry. I mean, the rest of you don't really have a lot in the way of spare room. But if you've cleared the place out, you can always make several trips.
Well,
we can just go back to the village and get a horse and cart off them, and then just load it up that way.
Well, which one of us wants to go inside first?
Well, look, we're just taking note. I'm just taking note that it's a treasure room, James. I'm not going to help myself yet because there's no point getting weighed down over nothing. So take note that it's a treasure room, and then go back down the windy path.
Okay, and carry on left. Okay.
There was no other door there.
No, there's another one of those little crawly holes, but that's all. Okay. Passing on around, without any doors, you enter into another chamber with a single pillar, slightly phallically shaped, you think? And there are alcoves and hollows in the floor. And laid out in each of the hollows are 3 women, now sort of shriveled and mummified. But looking at them, you think maybe they were once beautiful. There's ancient dried flowers strewn across them, and they wear golden chains around their waists and golden circlets on their heads.
Didn't the old chap at the inn say that the wooden man was buried with everything he'd need in the afterlife, including women?
He did indeed.
Mm-hmm.
This could be the way then.
Which could suggest that Gordon Room is in fact legitimate. I still don't trust it.
Well, we've met his warriors, and now we've met his benches. What's next?
Well, after the room with the illusionary man that sprayed gas at us. And my guard is up a little bit.
Yeah, they don't spring to life and attack you or anything. They just lie there.
Right. Just cautiously walk past them.
Yeah, they don't spring out and attack you. It's almost disappointing.
Oh, okay. I was expecting to see another late bitch.
Eventually, passing around the curve, you enter an almost identical but less phallic chamber, and there are 12 spaces, hollows in the floor here, with more mummified bodies laid out. Some of them are laid out with pewter pitchers. Another one has the rotten remnants of a harp. One of them is wearing a weird-looking grinning mask. It looks like servants.
Is he wearing robes?
Are they wearing robes?
No, the one with the mask. Is he wearing robes?
No, he's wearing the rotting remnants of a tunic.
Must have been the court jester.
So,
Uh,
gold,
Again,
women,
they don't really
slaves.
seem to have any treasure or anything.
Is the mask worth anything?
It might be worth something as a curiosity to somebody.
Okay, I'll take note of it.
Okay. And carry on.
Yep, why not?
Right. Passing on, you pass through another chamber of servants lying in state in the same way, and then another opening off the round path. There's no doorway to this, and it opens out into a much larger chamber.
Judging by their clothes sense, was it like being in? Did the remains of their clothes look like it was higher fashion as we progressed?
For the time, they would have been, well made.
Yeah.
The finest of the time.
Yeah. Okay, doke. Have a look in the last room then. See what's in here.
All right. Lift your lantern and carefully step in. The passage emerges in the southwest corner of a square room. Directly opposite you is a carven stone idol, a very stylized figure fashioned from a slim pillar. It represents a bearded man with a patch over his left eye. It almost seems that a softly glowing aura hangs in the air around the idol's head, but it could just be a trick of the light here. In the centre of each wall, a carving in high relief is set back in an alcove like a false arch. Each carving shows a similar one-eyed figure looking into the room, flanked on either side by figures facing inwards. In the carving set in the north wall, the one-eyed figure is youthful and holds a spear over his head, aloft. In the carving in the west, he's shown as a middle-aged, kingly figure, placing torques about his vassals' necks. The east carving depicts him as a bearded old man, seated in a tree with snakes curled around the branches. The carving in the south wall shows him as a fierce warrior, crushing the skulls of his enemies.
Do all the eyes seem to look in the same general direction?
They all point towards the centre of the room.
So all visible eyes are looking at the centre of the room.
Yeah, or each other.
And what is in the centre of the room?
Nothing.
Is there a roof to this? Is there a ceiling to this room?
Yeah, a rounded stone slab one with a few roots peeking through. But there doesn't seem to be anything in particular.
You reckon he's underneath slabs?
I would have thought there would have been sword here.
You've completed the loop all the way around now, so the only door that remains is the one to the inner burial chamber, perhaps. It's the only place that's left, with those 3 weapons stabbed into the door.
So that would be his inner sanctum. Is everyone up to full health? Look at everyone, roughly.
No,
No.
but you're okay.
We're stable. We're stable, basically.
Yeah.
Well, how badly wounded is the monk? You're quite bad. aren't
I'm nearly at half hit points.
you? Yeah, I'm on 2/3.
Right, Mystic, swap with the monks, so the monks at the back, just to be on the safe side.
I can always use my bow from the rear anyway,
Yeah.
to cover you guys.
And you've got
Yeah.
some magic arrows, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, so if you're as ready as you're going to be, what do you want to do?
Yep.
Oh, if I should die, I want to be dressed in all that posh gold and silver kit when I get buried. Okay.
Okay. Yep, no problem. In your
You'll be
dreams.
buried in it, then you'll be dug up and reburied, but you'll be buried in it.
That's nice.
Do you want me to find some fair maidens for you to be buried with you as well?
Fair maidens.
Pretty young boys for Becca, I think.
Sorry, my bad. Rebecca.
Okay, so who's going to approach the door?
I'll go to the door.
Okay, you stroll up to the door. The axe is impacted into the stone, so that the blade is actually in the stone. The sword is rammed into the stone to the hilt, and the spear is slammed in until the blade of the spear is completely within the stone.
Okay.
Behind that's another one of these big, round, rolling stone doors with the same triple spiral pattern.
Keep rolling. Keep rolling.
You'll need help to roll it. It's too heavy for you to do it by yourself.
Before you open the door, may I just see if I can sense anything?
Yep.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. Do your
If that
funky
link
stuff.
of evil presence might still be here, is all I'm thinking.
These weapons, they weren't magical before, but since they've joined with the door, they've taken on an evil aspect.
These weapons didn't used to be magical, but now they are, apparently, for some reason. As soon as they stripped the door. But I don't think we could get them out of the door. They're wedged quite thoroughly in the door.
What sort of evil magic do you think could have done such a thing?
Obviously some evil force that's either guarding the tomb of the wooden man and doesn't want us to retrieve the sword. Or some malign spirit that's fingered the eternal.
Right. How many of us did it take to move the door, James, this time? All of us?
Three of you to shove the door aside.
Yeah, push the door open.
Okay. So you brace against the door, but no matter how hard you try, it won't move.
Is there anything missing from the door? Like anything?
Anything missing from it? No, it's got these extras, the weapons stuck into them.
Right,
Perhaps
so
we should attempt to remove these blades. Perhaps they are what is pinning the door in place.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
I don't know how to do it. Say, yeah, well. Trying to think of a way to do it. Does it? Now, not that I'm trying. Does it look? But could I discern any kind of magical trap, or not trap, but anything that is kind of, has this activated some kind of magical ward or trap or something? If
so, when they came together, the door and the weapons in it have been bound together by magic, but you can't really tell anything more specific than that.
Yeah.
Suppose take like a length of cloth or something to try to protect my hand, wrap it around the blade, and give it a pull.
Okay, what is your magical defense, Sir Elaine?
4.
Okay, you pull on the blade. It comes out really easily, but you feel a sudden wash, an oppressive evil sort of pass over and through you, and then it's gone, but you don't know what it did.
I did not like that.
2 weapons remain in the door.
Now you know
Someone
how I
else did
felt.
this time.
Now you know how I felt when I chopped that guy's hand off in the temple. You know, someone walked over my grave. You know, joined the club. Oh,
Yes, but nobody asked you to do that. Why don't you pull the next one out?
okay, if you insist.
Okay, what's your magical defense?
My magical defense is 3.
3. Okay, you get the same weird feeling. So you pull the blade out. It comes out easily, fine, no problem. But then there's this just sense of dread that passes through you. Ugh.
Is there any way of getting these curses removed, James?
Yes, there may well be ways of getting these curses removed. The
I'm
spear
just-
remains.
An expensive way.
I was just thinking maybe I should try and pull that out.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah,
because-
given you're the magical one.
Yep.
What's your magical defense?
What the hell? Sorry, things got closed. Magical defense 8.
Okay. You grasp hold of the spear and pull it out. You feel the surge of magic, but manage to counterspell it before it can settle into your bones. The door rumbles aside by itself, granting passage to the chamber beyond. The heavy stone door opens into a circular chamber. The armoured figure of a warrior stands on a simple stone dais. He carries a gilded sword before him, in the old, ancient style. For a moment, it seems that he is another undead creature ready to strike, but then you see that he's not moving. His lifelike stance is the result of an embalmer's skill. While the others were preserved, here they've outdone themselves. He still looks sunken and leathery, but you can see the man that he once was, with all the bulk and strength that he once had. Your lamplight blazes on the burnished gold blade, lingers on the garnets and golden fittings of his armour. Beside him are other weapons whose iron parts have become gnarled with rust, but many of them gleam with gems or gold that could be retrieved. There's also a battle standard, crested by the figure of a muscular woman with a crow for a head. A drinking horn rests on the floor beside a board game with masterfully crafted ivory pieces. You see other weapons, a shield, trinkets of silver and gold.
Brother, what's his name? Brother
Abbas.
something.
Abbas.
Brother Abbas, do you feel anything?
James, I'd like to try to use the premonition.
You reach out with your senses, but your mind has become exhausted and you can't really sense anything here.
Sorry, I can't sense anything.
But that
The
must
hill is taken out of me.
that must be the sword that you need to get your warlock friend free. Poor old Yannick.
Could I spend my last 2 magic points on detect aura for the room, if possible?
Do you really want to?
Well, I have a ring of Wraithwind, and I have could just sorry, scrolls. Do they work in this? You use it? They're a kind of a one shot only, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I will actually, because I have those the ring and the scroll left. So, yeah.
Okay. Right. So you mutter your incantations, open your eyes, and look around the room. The sword blazes with magical energy. It seems as powerful as Sir Elaine and Becca's Valandar swords in its own way, but it's an older, darker, bloodier magic that clings to it. The body also has a powerful residual magical aura. You don't think it's undead, but perhaps there's a spirit dormant within it.
Okay. I'll again whisper what I saw from the aura, and I shall ready my scroll. Should there be? Yeah.
Perhaps it is wise to take the sword and then leave this place.
Yeah,
I think from looking at the surroundings, we should do this with quickness and reverence. I think is the word I'd choose.
who's the fastest runner?
Me.
I think you should grab the sword and run, and we'll cover your retreats.
I nominate Kerodin to be the one to take it. You seem to resist the dark magic on this door the best.
Very well. Bollocks. I shall gingerly. I shall kind of shuffle forward, keeping my eyes open, and
Carrick, just grab the sword and turn and run. Don't look back. Don't wait for us. Get out as quick as you can. All right.
as I said, I'll gingerly go up, and as soon as I, kind of Indiana Jones style, just about to grab the idol, I'll clutch it, and I shall run like the devil.
Okay, you grab the sword, yank, turn, and run straight for the doorway. As you pull, the body topples forward off the dais and smacks face first into the ground, and you're away on your toes down to the corridor. But as it hits the ground, there's an unearthly shriek that seems to fill the entire barrow, and out of the corpse, a bright blue spectre with a single blazing red eye emerges, shrieking at deafening volume.
What did I say? Reverence.
Okay. Take your character rank away from 12 and roll a d20 over that.
Over. 16, so okay for me.
I got a 6.
$17.
12.
Okay. Well, if you fail, you're terrified and will be running as fast as you can to leave.
Doing that anyway. So.
I got 9, so that's equal.
Let's say you're all right. Well, you're still terrified, but you can hold your ground. Okay, so who's running and who's brave enough to fight the rear guard?
I'm running.
Okay. Perhaps it's
No
easier.
choice. I failed them.
Yeah. Who's left then? I think Elaine succeeded. Did Becca succeed?
Yeah, just.
And I think that's it, isn't it? The rest of you are all running?
Well, I'm definitely taking the sword out of harm's way for now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Right. Boss battle. Need some boss battle music.
We've just got to stand to give them time to get clear.
To get out, yeah. If you can hold it off or destroy it within 3 turns, they'll be out and away. And in theory, that should be safe. Right. so Caesaurus run.
Yep.
Yeah. Right, just release Becca and Sir Elaine. Right. Ildir's spirit raises the spirit remnant of the sword that you've stolen, and swings his blade towards Sir Elaine. What's your defense?
My defense is 11.
11. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. You sort of desperately sprawl backwards, and the spirit blade misses you, carving the air above you. Eerily, though, as it passes, there's no rush of air, there's no sensation of anything passing, but you don't doubt that if it had struck you, you would have felt it. Becca.
Yeah, I'm going for the classic death blow. Right scapula to left hip, overhead, full-blooded
Okay.
strike.
His defense is only 4.
It's 13. I think it's just enough.
Yep. Okay. And that's a magical weapon, so
Yeah.
roll damage.
7 hits.
7. Okay. Right. The blade passes through him, but it's like cleaving through cobwebs. It takes some of it with it. He seems to thin out and become less substantial somehow. One sec, I just need to look something up quickly. Okay. So Elaine.
Yeah, hit back with Becca.
Okay, just roll your attack or under.
Yep.
Okay, so you
9.
move around so that you can sort of bracket him and get your sword in there. Roll
And
damage.
8 damage.
8 damage. Right. He barely seems to be there anymore. A couple of lucky blows have really whittled him down.
Lucky blows.
Yeah. So we're on turn 2.
The mighty warriors.
Right. The spirit swirls around, howling in outrage, and lunges for Becca. It's Becca's defense.
My defense. Oh, it's what's the music? 12.
Because you didn't berserk at him, did you?
No.
Yeah.
12. Yeah.
Right. Armor rating 4, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. He stabs at you with his blade. The ghost blade passes through you. It doesn't cut you or do anything, but you feel like it's sucked some of the life force from you. Lose 3 health points.
Oh.
And it's your go.
Right. It's decapitation, death blow. 10 to hit. Yeah, there's a hit.
Okay. Yeah. And damage.
Oh yes, 12 hits. But I had some brutal hits this
Yeah.
session.
Okay. Your blade sort of separates the ghostly head from the body. It starts to sort of part, and then Elaine stabs through where its chest would be. There's a dim flash of greenish blue light, and then the spirit just seems to dissipate, and the mummified body just collapses in on itself into dust.
Oh,
Someone's had it. Yeah, bits.
The task is done. Ildir's sword is retrieved.
Yay!
The wooden man is gotten rid of, which means you can freely loot the place now over time. But you do have Ildir's sword, which means you can trade for Yannick.
Yeah, so what about the talks we were given? Like these magical talks?
Yes. Well, we're going to wrap up in a sec. So
Okay, yeah.
what the talks do with this is that they will allow you to teleport back to Kavala's presence with the sword. So he probably actually does that regardless of your wishes. once one of you is holding the sword and checking it. So those of you who were here last session, so Sizora and Becca and Sir Alain, you just vanish from in front of the others, and you find yourself within the obelisk Carvala's tower again on the island. And Yannick's there. He's looking a bit haggard. His beard's grown in a bit over the sort of intervening couple of weeks. And Kavala is there, this white figure in his moon robe. He picks himself up out of his game seat. So, you have the gift that I asked for.
As we do, what do you plan to do with it?
Nothing. It merely amused me to send you after it. One grows bored without players for the game. But there are greater games to be played. And you played your part beautifully.
Well,
Don't argue. Just nod and let's get Yannick and leave.
The blade, if you please.
we find ourselves without any choice. I suppose our hand in the blade.
He takes it and admires it, and sort of leans on it like it was a walking stick of some kind. Carvala is a man of his honour. You may take your friend, and you may leave. But you were such amusing playing pieces. I do hope I'll see you again. There's another flash. The silver talks have disappeared, and you reappear back where the rest of the party are wondering where you went.
I do not like being used.
It does suck. There is that. Right, this went on a bit longer than last time, than usual. But I think we can wrap up there. Does anyone have any particular requirements for me changing the character sheets for the characters they've been playing, or anything? Does anyone want to buy anything, or train in anything, or pursue anything until the next session?
Maybe have a closer look at that snake egg thing.
Yep. So let's find out what that's about.
I think you can until rank 8.
I'll let people do it with study. It's just once you're up at those higher ranks, you can just kind of look at it and identify it without any real trouble. So that's the difference.
Maybe that potion, if we could get a look, to see what it was
Yeah.
that the assassin has.
Cool. Right. Well, we'll call that a night then. I'm planning to do the next session on Thursday, and then one after that on Saturday. So if you're watching and you want to get in, let me know as soon as possible. If you guys want to play again, let me know which sessions you're free for and which ones you're not. Yeah. So good night, everyone. Have a good one.
Good night. Appreciate
Bye,
it.
James. Take care now.
Take
Cheers,
care.
thanks.
Cheers, lads.
Thanks for playing.
Thanks.